I've made a few changes to my Upland Clipboard Manager, and I thought I'd make a new video. It's kind of funny because I just uploaded the version 2 of this app to the Chrome store just the other day, and now it's already at version 2.1. So um, the changes that I made weren't major, but they were driven by the I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I think Upland may have changed the way that they display or create these lists of who got what for the passes, the city passes. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. But I originally had a um, a Chrome extension for finding your addresses, your new addresses for the city passes. Like in this, like if again I'm clicking and I can't select anything. It's a spread. It's essentially a Google spreadsheet, but you can't select anything because it's in an iframe. It's protected in a way that you can't copy anything. And a lot of people have told me that if you push Control F and search for your name, that it'll highlight it for you, but it still doesn't allow you to copy it. You would then have to go to the Inspector tab in develop mode and copy it that way, which, you can do it, but it's still a little clumsy. So I thought I'd make a fix for that, and I had called it the Property Finder. But for whatever reason, now it doesn't work. So I've removed it from the from the Google Chrome store, and I've replaced it with a section in the Upland Clipboard Manager. If you look, when I switch to these tabs, this is Vancouver and Seattle, and the other one's Cape Town. If I were to switch to those tabs, you'll see another little tab appear up here. It's the Finder tab, and it allows you to automatically find the ones that you have purchased through the City Pass. And I'll show you how that works in a minute. But for the address part of the Upland Clipboard, it works. I know I was pretty much the only one using this. Like, it shows only one user in the Chrome store, so I'm pretty much talking to myself. But if anybody else does start using it, this is how it works. It's meant to speed things up rather than having to remember addresses and paste addresses or copy them to a spreadsheet and paste them back. It's supposed to speed up the process. And just so you know, you can use this with a spreadsheet. These cells are copy paste. They have that ability. So if you are using it in an Excel spread, if you do Excel spreadsheets to keep track of everything you do, you could still use this. Like if when it copies an address into this, it's still in the Windows memory. It's still on the clipboard. So you could go straight to Excel and just push Control V and it will paste it in there. And I haven't actually tried it, but Gemini tells me that the paste button also works in Excel. If you were to select a cell and push the paste button, it will paste the address that's in here into that cell. I haven't tried it, but that's what it told me. So I don't use Excel spreadsheets for Upland. I used to a long time ago, but I gave it up. So I'm more of just a casual player now, I would say, than a serious player. But anyways, so the idea of this is to work with the addresses that you have short term. And let's say that I wanted to memorize or remember these 3 addresses for whatever reason. If I were to actually try to do that, I would have to write them down, because again, I'm clicking and dragging on this and I cannot highlight this address. It doesn't let me do it. So I would have to write it down manually in the old way, or the way that everybody else is doing it at the moment. And most of the time you have to, like, if it's a street name that you've never seen, or if it's in French or Japanese or Chinese or whatever, often you're not going to remember it easily. And so this is why I built this. And what this does is it looks at this card and analyzes what is the address. It just records what's in the very, very first line. It doesn't record Cape Town or anything else because Upland sometimes doesn't rely on this information to find the address. And I'm not sure exactly how Upland's search criteria works, but this is the most reliable part of this information. So I've always got it capturing just the white part. And you'll see that it's showing here as what it found on the page. If I close this, you'll see that disappears. Click on it again and it reappears. So what this is allowing you to do is copy this directly into the first line. So if I go save, it's now in the first line. If I were to go to the second property, it's on the same street, but it's a different number, and it's found it. And so if I push save, you'll see it saves it into the second line. I have a third address just down here, so if I click on that one and push save, I now have all three in this window. So if I were to move away somewhere else and then click one of these three paste buttons into the search address section, you'll see that it pops that address in there, and now I can click this and go directly to there, just like you would if you remembered the address, which I don't. So it's pretty helpful in that regard. Also, you'll find that you don't have to open the magnifying glass, the search window. It'll do that by itself. I've got it so that it when you push the paste button, it automatically brings up the search window. And in some cases, you'll find that it's returning more than one hit. Like this one, for example, there's only that one address. But for others, it's just the same as it would be for any other address that you're searching for in Upland. And this, I think, is the one. Yeah. So you still may have to search through the return of what it is. It's not perfect in that it's not copying the entire Cape Town, blah, 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 whatever. But like I said, sometimes if you type in the entire thing, Upland search criteria doesn't like it and you get no results. So I found that it's better to get more than one result than it is to get nothing. And so that's why it's just the street address and not the entire city, neighborhood, whatever address. It should work with Chinese, Japanese, French, any address that's not labeled street first, then city. Sometimes they have the neighborhood, city, state before they have the address, and it should still be able to figure that out. There may be times when it just doesn't work, and that's, there's no way around that. It's doing its best, but it's not completely bulletproof. So the reason why I have 5 slots here, I used to have 3, but now I've got 5, is because I thought, well, for collections, there are 2 collections that have 5 properties that you have to place in the collection. I think there's only 2 that have 5. Oh no, there's another one here. Nob Hill has 5. So it's possible. This is San Francisco, yeah. So it's possible that there are more than that coming. There are some with 4, there are some with 3, there's some with 2, and maybe even some with just 1. Actually, Newbie has only 1. But the most that you're going to see is 5. I don't think they'll ever do more than 5. So the idea was that you could paste 5 addresses at once into this manager and it would be able to handle them. And I see that as being something that you could use with UPXLand's listings. If you were to search for, let's say you want to put 5 properties into the City Pro collection, you will need 5 properties that are in a city. And I'm just choosing the Bronx here. I chose sale price as the sort by feature and the status as for sale by UPX, and then searched. And just to save time, this is what they are. And so if I were to clear this list, and then as I click on each one, you'll see that they appear over here. And just so you know, this window over here, I've magnified this so you can see it a little bit easier. Each time I click on an address, you'll see it not only appear up here as UPXLAN telling me that I've copied the address, but it'll also come into this list of addresses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right away I've got 5 addresses that are all for sale, lowest price, and now I can go back to Upland. I'll just close this, and you can see that the addresses are all here ready for me to go there. So if I paste this, it goes directly into the search bar like always. Click on the address, and Upland takes me over to the Bronx. And there we go. So that's the first one, 855 East. So that's this one. So if I were to click on the second one, let's say I bought that one now, and now I'm going to the second one. And now I buy this one, and then I do the same for the third, fourth, and fifth. And it's much easier than having to write down everything, copy it into spreadsheet, whatever. It's just meant to speed things up. Now, if you wanted to do, let's say you have a lot of UPX, you just inherited, your grandmother dies and you've got like $50 million and you decide to spend it all on Upland. If you were to buy a lot of collections at once, another thing you could do, I'm just going to clear this list, is to go to UPXLAN and start a favorites grouping of the properties that you want to do. And again, I'm just going to use the same one just for the hell of it because it's time, save time. But it was called City Pro, so that's what I'll do. City Pro, and I'm just going to do the same 5 addresses again. So now I have a grouping called City Pro. I've also got default, which has nothing in it. Just for the hell of it, let's also go and do World Traveler. Actually, let's do something else. It'd be easier to find. Let's do Midtown Terrace. So I'll go back to UPXLAN, and instead of doing Bronx, I'm just going to choose all. It's a collection that it's actually a neighborhood, but I'm going to call it a collection. Midtown Terrace is what I'm looking for. And again, I'm looking for sale price and for sale in UPX. And after a few seconds, we get a list. There's not very many available. It's only 12. So I'm going to start a collection called Midtown Terrace. And it's empty at the moment. So I'm just going to add, I only need 3. I'm choosing the cheapest ones. Not that I could afford any of them. But now they are in this list. So now I have City Pro and Midtown Terrace, and I could continue on filling out groups of favorites and then go back to the Upland. You'll have to refresh this by clicking on it again just to have it repopulate. But you'll see now that I have the City Pro group and the Midtown Terrace group and the default group. And as soon as I'm done with each one of these, and again, I don't have to do anything other than just push the P button. It'll show up. And again, of course, there's a number of choices that I have. In San Francisco is probably the first one. Yeah, Delbrook, so it's probably this house. And it is 369 Delbrook. Okay, so that's the way that you would use the favorites section. It's pretty quick and easy. And these should remain persistent even if you close down the Upland Clipboard and restart it. If you were to uninstall it and reinstall it, they probably will not stay. It's not that persistent. It's not meant to keep files on your computer. It's just meant to be running or stable while you've got it running. But if you were to close the window down, whatever, it'll stay there when you reopen it. As long as you don't clear your browser's cache. But the idea is that you are able to copy and paste addresses very quickly without having to write anything down. So now the next stage that I wanted to do, and I'll just show you this quickly, that if you decide you want to change, you've spelt this wrong, Terrace only has one R or whatever, you can change that. You can also delete it and it'll disappear. I'll delete City Pro as well. And now I'm just left with default. And addresses, you have to clear them one at a time. I was going to do a clear all button, but I keep thinking that you might accidentally hit it. I've got twitchy fingers for my mouse hand, so I tend to accidentally hit things, and I wouldn't want to delete everything automatically. But the other way you could use favorites is, let's say Upland has just released the property pass list. So they did announce it, I think it was just yesterday. So these are the all the properties for the Cape Town passes. And as you can see, there's a lot of them here. And for you to scroll through and try and find your name, if you've only purchased one property, it's kind of hard. And like I said, you can do the Control F thing, but even then you can find your name, but you can't copy it. You would have to do it by right-clicking and going inspect and then copying it that way. It's a bit of a hassle. So what I did was I had it, this manager can see when you're on a spreadsheet, Google spreadsheet. So what it will do is pop up the Finder window when you're on this spreadsheet page with an iframe in it. It's looking for specific things. And so it look for, what you do is you go to the Finder tab, you type in your name, your game player name, and mine is Caped Madman. And when I push search, you'll see it finds the 3 that I have. It doesn't go to them on the list. I'm going to actually go there with the Finder window. And you'll see these are the 3 that I have. It's not trying to find them on the window so you can see them, it's finding them so that you can copy them. And it is the correct 3 addresses, 9 Bedford Street, 5 St. Filian's Road, and 21 Bowlers Way, or Bowlers Way. If you want to, from that point, you can add them to your favorites. So you would then say Cape Town. So now I have a favorites called Cape Town, and it's those 3 addresses. So if I go back to Upland and I go to refresh the favorites tab, and I go paste, it's going to find that one for me. And that's it. I think 9 Bedford Street. I haven't purchased it yet, so I could go there if I had enough. I don't. It's 32. I only have 15.7. So if I were to send my Explorer to something around here, I could purchase it. I have purchased, I think it's the one on Bowlers Avenue. Bowlers Way, sorry. Yeah, I've already purchased this one. So another way that you can use this is I like to place the map assets on them to show that I've got the lowest send fees. I set all of my properties to the lowest send fees for treasure hunters or for anybody else for that matter. It's meant to make it cheaper for other players to land there, especially new players. I know that if a new player, they don't have much in the way of UPX, so I'm doing them a favor, is as I see it. So if you were to want to place a map asset on your property, a marker of some sort to indicate that was the case, you could go to your map assets tab and select, I think I still have some that I haven't placed yet. Okay, so if I were to place one of these markers, it asks me where do I want to put it. I'm sitting right here. It's like this is where I want to put it, but I don't see it on the list. So the easiest way again to do it is I've already got it in my clipboard. So I would just click here, paste the address, bingo, it's there. And I would select it, and that's where it's going to get put. I don't want to put it there because I've already got one, so I'm not going to do that. The other thing that you can use this for, and this is something that we have to do in this release for the things, the challenges that we have to do this week, is we have to place seed, or to plant a seed in 5 properties. So right now I have no seeds planted. I don't think I planted it. Oh, I did plant one. Yeah, I've got one planted there. So I have to do 4 more. And right now I've got these, which are properties I only own the bottom ones. I don't own the top 2. And so I'm going to add this one to the list. So save. And then I'm going to add this one as well. And I need 1 more. I'm going to go to this one of these guys up here. I'll pick this one. Save that too. So in total we need 5, but like you saw, I've already got 1 planted, so the rest are there. So how I do this is I go to assets. I want to go to my seeds. I'm just going to pick palm trees. I'm going to plant the palm tree. And again, it's going to ask me where do I want to plant it. And I want to actually plant it right there, but it's not in the list. So how do I do? I go avenue, blah, 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 that one. And when you know it, it's right there. So that's number 2. And so I'm going to take that one off the list. Now I want to plant the next one, so I'm going to find another seed. And this needs to be fixed because there's too much jumping around, but that's for another show. Another palm tree. I'm going to do this one on, I'll do the first one. So that's the 3rd one. That one. Print, paste, or plant 1 more. 2 more actually. Seeds. Another palm tree. These palm trees are native in South Africa, don't you know? Again, it's looking for a property, even though it's right there. I can't see it in the list, so actually I think that's the wrong one, but it doesn't matter. Oops. So that's 4 properties. That was that one. And the last one. Seeds. There's my next palm tree. Plant that there. And now my mission is complete. And see how hard that was? Like, that's pretty quick. And I'm going to get rid of this Cape Town group. I don't need it anymore. No more groups. And that's how that works. It's pretty painless, in my opinion. Anyways, items is more or less just the same thing, but with an item instead of an address. For the favorites and the addresses, I've got the AI looking specifically for an address, because it helps it find the address on the page, and it helps when you paste it into Upland. These ones are basically just for the asset tab, either here or inside the search for the item that you're looking for. So if I go back here and I'm looking for a marker, for example, if I paste that in here, it'll ask me, what do I want? And that's what I want. So, there are some more markers for sale. He's made some more. Or she has made some more, whoever it is. Yeah, so I love these things because they're large and they're easy to see. So I buy quite a few of those. And not only that, they're relatively cheap. That's my phone telling me that I've just bought something. So, and I actually like this. The Upland used to have you put the asset you just bought on the property. And I thought at first that was great. But I now realize that I actually like this better. I like to be able to purchase a whole bunch at once and do it this way. And so kudos to Upland. This was a good idea. And not to bore you, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so the idea of the compare tab is that you would have you can compare two properties at the same time, one to each other. And the idea is that if somebody offers you a swap offer, you often don't know if they're offering you a good deal or not. Their property may be lower in monthly returns than yours is, and you're wondering why is that. And to be honest, you should do more research than just a quick look, but sometimes a quick look is all it takes. And that's what this is meant to be, is just a quick look. All it's doing is returning the data that's available in this card. It's not looking at anything else. There's no other data that's scraped from Upland at all. It's just what's shown here. And so you would, the property one is your property. So this is my property. I'm going to save that to the property one. Then you have to go to their property and select that, add it to the second one. And for some reason, I found that the program requires you to have your property, the first one, open to be able to get this to work reliably. Sometimes it'll work when it's not. Sometimes it won't. I can't get Gemini or Claude to figure out what the problem is with that, but it's probably something to do with Upland's interface. And even sometimes when you have this property selected, it won't pop up, but it usually works this way. If you have the first property, your property, selected and the card active, it will work. And so in this case, it's showing that my property is lower in UP2 size. So it's a benefit, or it's showing a green, that if I were to select his property. Also for monthly earnings, because his property is larger than mine, it would be an increase in property earnings for me. And in this case, if you look, you'll see that he's got I'm not going to say what that is, but a little map asset and a plant, and I have a map asset and a plant. If it shows up, there it is. A map asset and a plant. Both of them are pretty much the same thing, funny enough. But anyways, in this case, it would be beneficial for me to swap. We're in Cape Town, which there's no collections in Cape Town right now, so it's hit or miss. But his property is slightly larger than mine, so I would be getting a benefit if he offered me his property for mine, as far as I can tell. The only other thing you might want to look at is the street view. and see if, like, is there something special about my place that that he would want, and nothing. So so like I said, if neither of these properties are selected, I'll just try and get it to fail at the moment. And of course it's not failing, but sometimes it'll pop up a little message that says that it's not working. And like I said, not sure why that is. Grok doesn't know why it is. Claude doesn't know what it is. Gemini doesn't know what it is. It's just what it is. Upland can be a bit finicky, so sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But it's there if you want to try and use it. But anyways, the whole point of this clipboard manager is to speed things up. It's, to me, it saves a lot of time writing, copying, pasting, and now I do most of my work with my mouse. So it's free. It's in the if you go to the extensions visit the web store, depending upon your browser as to where that actually is. Type in Upland as the search feature, and you should see a number of Upland extensions that are available. It's not just me and Swarley. There are other people that are building these too. Some of them are quite useful, some not so much, some are repetitive, whatever. This is mine. It's just been updated. It may not have been updated by the time you watch this video. This is I just submitted it, so the update, usually within the next 2 days it'll get accepted. So if they accept it, this is where you'll find it. And anyways, that's all I have to say. Hopefully, if you do try it out and it works great, that's great. Like I said, no charge, just hopefully it helps you use Upland. Thanks for watching.